At Mental4Moto, our mission is to give the unsung heroes of Aussie motocross a voice. From grassroots racing right through to the biggest events in the country, sharing the stories you won't hear anywhere else. If you're interested in the advertising packages that we have available, or just want to show your support, please check out our website, www.mental4moto.com, and we can tailor a package to suit your needs. Now, let's get on with the show.
There were times I was lost, dark had fear, couldn't see through the rain. In the end it was clear, hit the fan. I was more than one man who was there to lend a hand. Together we'd stand, always at my back, my guardian soldier. Team put together, united we conquer. Blessed is he who in the name of charity carry me when I'm weak straight through the valley of darkness. Pitch blackness, the heartless, regardless, fear couldn't part us. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. We ride, ride.
Welcome back, Moto fans. This episode of the Vic MX review is brought to you by Kimber Constructions. If you'd like to help out and get behind one of our upcoming shows, please shoot me a DM. We'll make sure your brand gets plenty of promotion across the pod and across our socials. And as always, a big thanks to our partners here at Mental4Moto, Fastline Suspension, Southeast Pools, Iro Helmets, Ultimate Toy Haulers, and the June sponsor of the Mental4Moto Motocross and Supercross wall calendars, Thrill Therapy. Make sure you grab yourself some of the Thrill Therapy merch at any round of the Vic titles. Now on the line to talk all things round 2 of the Senior Vics at Edenhope. Welcome back, Kenny Watts.
Yeah, thanks for having me once again, Pete. It's an absolute privilege.
These are always a lot of fun, so you're welcome on any time.
Excellent. No, happy to be here, mate.
So Edenhope was some good racing, a little bit of controversy, a little bit of rain, some miserable weather, a new location for the Vics. So lots of things happening. But yeah, what were your initial thoughts of the round 2 of the Senior Vics at Edenhope?
Well, I thought after getting there on Friday night and checking out what the boys had been doing and everything else, some new buildings for the first aid room, a signing hut that they've just received, and they're gonna do a few alterations to make that a little bit more accessible and whatever. So yeah, a little bit going on in the background. Not a big club for motocross, so to get them to put a little bit of money into the sport in Edenhope is mainly more for the community than anything else. So yeah, I thought we was going to have a ripper weekend, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a great facility. I mean, I haven't been there before, but there's so much room, so much parking, so much room for camping. And the track itself, as soon as you see it, it's a flat layout, so it's kind of like a track in a paddock setup. But it's an awesome build. Was that a Pro Tracks build? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. They initially built it, and then it had to be toned down a little bit in places, and a little bit of work done, and then they even had to move the finish line. That was recently just done. Yeah, just a few things they done, and then just had to go back and correct it a little bit later. So
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we were cursed with rain on and off all day Saturday, and then we'll get to Sunday. But I would love to see that track on a dry day. I think the track layout was awesome. The jumps are big but safe, and it raced really, really well all weekend, even with some, pretty average conditions.
Yeah, so as you done your little interviews with Corey Vanderlei, his comment was basically the last jump before you reach on the start line is the biggest Buddha one on track. Otherwise, everything else is they're well-made jumps and everything else. So
yep,
they're just got to be kissed and have a little bit of luck with the weather, So
for sure.
The track looked good for Saturday, and I don't think it got to the point you had to run out of the rain. There was some drizzlies a little bit come over, and we thought, well, that's it, because that's all they were forecasting. Yeah, and like, to be honest, I thought the racing was good, really good Saturday. So
Yeah, I agree. I just I ended up with getting a bit of moisture inside one of the camera lenses, which wasn't ideal. It wasn't sort of heavy, but it was just on and off all day, and I think it was just that cold, the moisture in the air that made that worse for the camera. But it didn't bother me sort of out there, and it really didn't affect the racing too much. I think at the end of the day was the first time it actually got through and made it a bit slippery. I think the track was pretty tacky and grippy all day, actually.
Yeah, and like the feedback from the riders first time out there was good layout and everything else, and the soil was good. So
yeah, I'd love to see a Pro MX there. I think the track layout would make for some great racing. The big jumps, you can get all around the track. So for spectators, that'd be pretty cool to be able to walk around and see it sort of from all the different angles. And I just thought it was a very cool track.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the location that it is in, like, you got to convince the riders to go there just for our Vic title. So the off-roaders go all over the place for that sort of stuff, but our motocross boys like to stay at home, I think, and a little bit closer to home.
Well, I'll admit I wasn't stoked about the about the location. It was a long way, and then just to make it worse, I was running late as I usually do to these things, and I think my ETA was about 12:30 at night, and then my sat nav on the way said, "Do you want to save 6 minutes?" And I still had a couple of hours to go at that stage, and I was like,
"No."
Yeah. Oh, I did. I said, "Yep, 6 minutes sounds good when you're running late." So I turned left. First road I went down. I'm like, "Oh, this is all right." And then,
did you go over the top of the grampians or something? What'd you do?
I turned left again, and then the roads just got progressively smaller until they were like single lane goat tracks that were stuffed, and I had to slow down to 60. There was no houses, no lights. It was predominantly sort of sparse bushland. And I went through that for an hour and a half. I actually called the old lady, and she was on Google Earth, and she said, there is nothing around you. So for an hour and a half till I popped out the other side. So for future reference, if anyone's listening, you don't want to save 6 minutes because it actually took me about half an hour longer going that way.
Mate, if you go Edenhope, you go straight to Horsham and straight through Natty Market, straight there.
100%. That's the way I went home. Yep, way better. Way better.
Like, people from Warrnambool take a different route, but if you're from Melbourne or anywhere like that, just to Horsham straight in, I think that's the easiest way.
So as far as the entries go, early in the week it was looking a bit grim, but we ended up with 178 class entries, which, all things considered, they forecast it to be a wet weekend, and it is a long way away. I think that was okay. What were your sort of thoughts on the number of entries we ended up getting?
Yep. Yeah, no, in the end, we were okay with that. It was looking at previous rounds last year, it was sort of basically mirroring what we've had. So, start off good, drop off a bit, and then hopefully we can come back strong. That's where we need to finish.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with the next couple of rounds as well, being, the return to Broadford and round 3 at Rosebud, I think we're going to get some really good numbers at those rounds. So, I hope to see heaps of the seniors turn up and support those rounds, because the racing there should be fantastic.
Yeah, so I've seen a bit on the social media of the boys and girls sneaking off to Rosebud and riding their practice days and things like that. So a few are keen to have, put round 3 back on their agenda and probably hopefully finish the season off real strong. So
yeah, and I've spoken to quite a few riders from like the Gippy region and even just sort of around, where I live, that don't traditionally race the Vics, that are planning to come race the Senior Vic. So I think we're going to get some pretty good numbers. Yeah,
no, that'd be good. We're still going through that process of qualifying for the MX3, so that side of it would be good if we can get some extra numbers and actually show the depth, because I suppose Rosebud will give you a little bit closer to the soil that they'll be greeted with it at Darwin. So
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so So the bit that we haven't spoken about, which I think we would be remiss not to, was Sunday at Edenhope. Now, I want to say off the get-go, like, sometimes I am pretty critical of track prep across the events. I think any criticism of the track prep at Edenhope is kind of unjustified and uncalled for, because the rain was meant to finish around, the afternoon on Saturday. And unfortunately, they kind of prepped the track with that in mind. And then around dinner time, it pissed down. And then I think from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., it poured again. So unfortunately, Sunday morning, we were sort of welcomed with a pretty wet track.
Yeah, so as you say, tea time. Yeah, we went down the local for a counter meal and went to the toilet, and that's the first sighting of rain. Looked out the back window of the toilets, and it was bucketing down. So it was like, ooh, not what we expected, not what the officials had discussed, not what the track boys had
Prepped
thought
for.
was going to be hitting them either. Yeah, and we ended up getting a lot.
Yeah, it was a shame, because I think the way the track finished up on Saturday, if it had have been sealed, and it's easy, obviously, to say in hindsight after it rains and it's unexpected, if it had been sealed, it would have been absolutely mint on Sunday, but they opened it up, expecting no rain and probably to dry it out a little bit. So if it hadn't rained, opening it up would have been good, but unfortunately that's just not the way nature played. So, we ended up with a mudder on the Sunday. I mean, we'll get into the results and the racing, but, I know we've sort of spoken about it before. I sort of think that Sunday probably should have been cancelled after practice when the track sort of realised, or when we realised that the track wasn't going to come good. But, I mean, a case can be made as well for the riders that are good in the mud. That's where they make their points.
It's a mud that didn't become like a Horsham when it's wet, or a GV when it's wet, that it's actually sticking to your bike and pulling your front fork protectors off your bikes and whatever else. It wasn't like that. So
it just got deep and horrible and squiggly. There was no straight lines and there was still bumps. It was just a very strange mud race. I had Seth Jackson on the podcast. We just recorded, went live today. So while, the day of recording here, and he actually said he's never ridden a mud track that gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was disappointing for the club and, for the riders too. I want to watch some great racing. We all put in the effort to travel, and, it's that club's first opportunity to not have to travel.
Yeah.
Their riders and the riders that live near Edenhope that travel to every other event, this was their first chance to have that home track, and just got to be presented with that. For them on Sunday, it was disappointing for them too, and the club. Everybody was putting in a big effort to get it over the line, and it was just.
It was unfortunate. Like I said, I would love 100%. To go back there and see racing there in dry conditions, because I was a big fan of the track layout and the track itself. So, hopefully we get to go back there in the future. All right, let's talk about some of the results. We'll start out with the standout riders, as we usually do. We had 9 riders across 10 classes that had a perfect day. And we mentioned this guy at the Round 1 podcast, but he's continuing his streak. He actually went 1-1-1 in 2 classes again, being All Powers A and MX1A, and that was Jacob Sweet. So this kid is on a roll.
Yep. So to be honest, I think he's perfectly suited for that, because he does Pro MX Nationals, and every Pro MX Nationals is Edenhope in the morning.
Close to. It's as close as you're going to get to Edenhope anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're all wet as a shag early in the morning, and then try and get through the day at the events. So his practice session was going out and actually having a race on that track. suppose their qualifying at Pro MX would be similar to him having to go out and have a race.
Yeah, when there's no lines formed or the lines aren't great. Yeah, for sure. But,
so it probably suited him, but he's riding really good.
He is. He really, really is. I think, we said it before. I think it's the best Jacob Sweet we've seen.
Yep. Yeah, and to be honest, Nick Medson was the only one that got near him.
Yeah, and he's further down on my list of things to talk about too, because there was there was some great racing from those two. So yeah. But as far as Jacob goes, I would love to see, and hopefully he does, Bryce Ognenis come back for the last couple of rounds. I'm gonna shoot him a message and try to talk him into it, because I would love to see these guys go at it for at least for a couple of rounds. Would be great to see.
Yeah, yep. And depending on the timing of Rosebud, you might see a few. Maybe some of the Pro MX boys come across and have a ride too. Hopefully,
that would be awesome. Yeah, it's a very popular track, so that would be really, really cool. And I mean, I've got a little spot where I want to talk about Rosebud later on, because I think there is some sand specialists, so we're going to see some different results at Rosebud, which I can't wait for. Anyway, the next rider that had a perfect day in All Power C was Jess Diffie. I don't know much about this guy. What can you tell me?
Young fella out of GV, Shepparton area. Yep. Just gone into seniors. Yeah. Good little rider. He's riding really good at the moment. He's doing a little bit of 125 riding at junior level too. So.
Oh, fantastic. And it was a reasonably sized class. So, yeah, it's good to come away with a win there, and certainly to have a perfect day.
Yeah, I think the C grade All Powers is the biggest. It's probably the fact that riders hadn't been there before either. So they've taken advantage of that, going to the track, having that All Power ride Saturday, getting to know it, and then, hoping that they can put a good one together on the Sunday on their main class that they're focusing on. But, just didn't get that opportunity. Well, they did, but they didn't get that opportunity on Sunday, unfortunately.
30-plus expert. He's just been and raced Fink. Ray Cole went 1-1-1. I mean, this guy just seems to be getting better every time I see him anyway. Ali Kent was kind of a little bit of a distant second. Do you think Ali Kent is going to be able to, get to Ray and give him some grief this season?
Well, Ray's been training for the Fink Desert Race, so he's been putting the hours in it, and Ali's not. So, but
Ali's spinning spanners.
he's and managing CDR. So hopefully Raymond qualified third fastest at Fink.
That's unreal. Yeah.
Yep. And unfortunately only made it not far into the race, hit a dust pocket, lost control, dodged a tree, hit the original concrete start gates, and ended up in hospital. So
I saw that. That's
hopefully he's okay. So
yeah, unfortunately, I think he avoided any sort of major injury, but
yes,
yeah, hopefully we see him back for round 3 of the Vics as well. But unfortunately,
he's put a lot of effort in this year, and unfortunately, the Fink dream hasn't ended the way he wanted to. So he may as well finish off strong in the Vic titles and finish that off, because he's dominating at the moment. So
yeah, 30-plus Clubman, another rider I don't really know a lot about, Robbie Anderson.
Yep, yeah, Robbie's. I thought we mentioned him in the last one. Robbie's from out that area, actually. Might be maybe closer to Hamilton, but used to be a racer years ago, and he's back. Had probably a 10 or 12-year layoff, and I think he may even had a hip replacement or something as a young fella from football, and he's just rides smart. He doesn't really put himself in a position. He doesn't need to be, or doesn't want to be put in a position to hurt himself, so he just rides smart, and it's good seeing him back riding again. It's really good.
Yeah. He's one of these riders that, and I'm seeing it more and more across the vet class, they're really adopting like that Jet Lawrence type style, where they're very upright, they're very efficient in their movement and their body position. And I'm seeing a lot of vets sort of take that up, and it's working. It's not fantastic for the camera, and it's not always exciting to watch, but they're going very, very quick doing it.
Yeah. No, Robbie's. Yeah, I've known Robbie a long time, so he rides the bike good, and it's good to see him back racing again. So
Yep.
yeah.
In the Vet 40 class, bit of redemption after Ballarat. He went 1-1-1. It's the Vanderdog, Corey Vanderlei.
Yeah, I loved your interview that you done with him. He's pretty funny bugger, and he loves the fact that we hang it on him too. So
Yep, and he wanted me to tell you that he worked on Cody's bike and it didn't blow up, and that's what happens when he works on the bikes. They go awesome.
yeah, that's what he's saying. But it was also he was come up and acknowledged that it was a bike issue that was caused these issues at Ballarat.
Yeah, but it was an ECU, so you can't be held responsible for that.
Won the cam chain out one link.
Oh, that too. Yeah, the timing one. Yep.
So I think they blamed the ECU, but it was only the timing chain was out one link.
Yeah. All right, Corey. It's back to you now.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Defend yourself.
Moccasins on.
Vet 50 plus, Peter Sullivan, perfect day. Yeah, I mean, he's impressive.
Yeah, the legends class, because they're the legends out there at that age riding their bikes around, I reckon. So he is really good to watch. So
yeah. Shame we didn't see Adam White at that round. It would have been good to see him out in.
And Darren too was the other one, wasn't it? That was
Sorry?
missing? Darren Grattan was the other one that was missing too, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Darren Grattan. Yep. So I mean, I think from the track, maybe they didn't. Oh, Saturday was good. So I actually retract that statement.
Saturday was up there.
Yeah, Saturday was great. So it would have been good to see those guys out there. But in their absence, Pete Sullivan took it out. Now, ladies expert class, Emma Milicevic took it out. She was riding absolutely unreal. It was actually good to see a few more of the ladies in this class this time. So Nellie Fox, Emma Clayton and Maddie Bird were also racing ladies expert. But I think in her prep for, WMX in the USA, no one was going to beat Emma Milicevic this weekend.
No. So a little bit of background around them girls is we had a meeting with the girls after riders briefing on the Saturday and said, that we can't run an expert class because one rider doesn't constitute a class, and suggested we just go back to a straight out women's class. And then the girls actually stepped up and offered to elevate themselves into that expert class to give Emma opportunity to race against them.
Yep.
And, the clubman girls to give them the opportunity to race for something also. So basically the top 3 or 4 stepped up into the expert class.
And that's very cool. Yeah, I mean, and I think Nellie Fox, Emma Clayton and Maddie Bird, I mean, a case could be made any day of the week that they are expert riders.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was going off actually their grading against the boys for the expert side of it, because that sort of dropped off there for a while. So
yes, yeah, okay, yep.
Back when you've got Maddie Bird, Maddie Brown, Emma, and you've got Emily Lambert, that calibre of riders, you were going off their actual state grading.
So with Maddie Bird, didn't she win the clubman class last year?
Yep.
So wouldn't that put her up to expert this year, or is that not how it works?
Well, it's not how it's worked, yeah. It hasn't worked like that. No.
Yeah.
But, prior to her going off and having her kids and things like that, she was in the expert class years ago, so.
Yeah, well, she's definitely finding her form again. And she's spending a lot of time on the bike and looking at going off to the Pro MX rounds up in Queensland. I think Traralgon is the next one, and then off to Queensland for the final 2 rounds. Is that right? Yes.
For the women?
Yep. Yeah. Conondale and QMP.
Yeah.
So she had, Maddie had some epic battles with Emma Clayton at the Bairnsdale Gippy. It was absolutely unreal watching them race, and I got a photo of Emma passing Maddie like in the air off. There's like a little ski jump double that really sends the riders. Like you gotta fully commit. It was really, really good racing to watch.
Yeah, so they're up they've stepped up into that class for us, which has given us that opportunity to run an expert class still, or else it would have been just straight out a women's class.
Yeah.
And
well, it's good. We've still
Yeah.
got good numbers in the ladies clubman class 2. That was taken out by Cody Boyer, 111. Again, don't know
Yes.
too much about Cody. Tell me.
Yeah, so Cody's, I think she's from like Gisborne area, races the Westerns. Her and her sister Jazz used to race too, and her brother Maxie. So 3 of the family race, well, did race. And yeah, consistent little rider, and she seems to be putting it together this year, so it's good.
Oh, that's very cool. And MX3, we talk about him every time because he is a bit of a phenom at the moment, and he just seems to be going from success to success. But Job Dunn in MX3 took it out. Didn't have it easy, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But, yeah, perfect day for Job.
Yeah, no, he's going well. Even when he ventures out into the Pro MX in the MX3 class, he's been a top 10 contender, like consistently in the top 10 all the time with some good results. So, yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
Now, I've got some honourable mentions, Kenny, and I've probably got a couple more than usual because there was some riders that really stood out to me at Edenhope. The first one I wanted to mention, and this is there's a few in this class, but in All Powers B, Fletcher Thompson, 355, he went 112. There was some great racing there. And
He's
also,
a good rider, isn't he?
He's a very, very good rider. And Archie Hyde getting his first win in Moto 3 on the Saturday in All Powers B.
Yep. And rode well there too, didn't he?
It was like watching a different rider. And he was like normal Archie Hyde, and then he got into the lead. I think Fletcher Thompson may have made a mistake or had a tip over. And it was like the second that Archie got into the lead, something clicked. And he was an animal. Like watching two laps, apart, going through the rollers. It was like I said, it was a completely different rider. He went from, getting through them pretty good to just being, having the throttle on the stop, going through the rollers and unreal to see. And, he was obviously pretty stoked afterwards
it's good.
too.
When you know the young kids and you see that happen, it's, you feel happy for them, happy for their parents, and happy for me too, because I've been a believer of him that he just needed to get that confidence back. So
you said
that is good.
Yeah, you said like a couple of years ago he almost gave it away, and I mean to be back now and winning a moto in B grade. No, he's doing awesome.
100%, really good.
Yeah, and Zach Smith in third as well was a really good ride for him too.
Yeah. So Bairnsdale, that's where he's from, is it? Smitty's from Bairnsdale. That's a fair trek.
Yeah, he was flagging down there on the weekend on the Saturday and then racing on the Sunday. I don't know if that's his local haunt though.
Yeah, I'm not sure either because I reckon his mum and sister helped out at Traralgon at a Vic title last year.
Oh yeah, so he's probably out from that way, East Gippsland somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. The other one for me, which was a bit of a breakout ride, and I love chatting to this guy in the pits, and I don't know, he's also always exciting to watch. Nicholas Beanie, second. He went 224 on his YZ 252 stroke in All Power C.
He was giving it everything out there on Sunday too. So
yeah.
Bit of a character. He comes up, cancelled his entry, enters the wrong class, and we sorted him out and everything. And gets out there and just enjoys riding.
I don't think he's very tech savvy by his own admission, but
that's why he cancelled an entry. I don't know why, by accident, I think, and then he was actually trying to enter another class, so we helped him out. But anyway,
but he knows how to wring the neck of that YZ 250.
Yeah, he's probably got a grin from ear to ear too while he's doing it. So. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
Yep.
All right, in MX1B, Xander Guica won the overall without taking a single moto. It just sort of puts an exclamation point on just what a crazy day it was. So that was actually really impressive, for him to get consistent results on that day in those conditions.
Yeah, so he's another rider that's completed the thing, so done well in that. Well done. But I think the extra bike time in prepping for it has also put him in a good position for some great race results. So
Riding in those types of conditions, I was actually when I did those interviews, so you can listen to them, you can find them on the podcast network. We interviewed Corey Vanderlei, which you already mentioned, Kenny, Zev Hughes, and Seth Jackson. It was funny because they all said that on the Sunday, like it wasn't a fitness thing. It was more about just survival. But yeah, I mean, getting consistent results is not easy in those conditions.
Yeah, so it may be the sand that Sander's been training in.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of anyway. The outcome is he put a good weekend together. So
yeah. And another madman in second place in that class that I wanted to mention was Jesse Clemson. Clemo with his he had his one man support crew there. But yeah, he convinces him. Yeah, he convinces himself that he's having a great time in the mud, and the results always come, after.
Yeah. So he snuck off to the pub on Friday night on the way in, and all reports was the character of the pub on Friday night. Everyone loved him. And then he fronted up again Saturday night and walked straight back in, and the local paper lady got a photo of him and everything. So he was popular in Edenhope, so bit of a character. The boys loved him at Edenhope, so he's a funny bugger.
He told me that his race prep was 18 beers and a Xanax.
Does not surprise me.
And one more rider, Cade King. So he has had a long time off racing. He's come back. He hasn't had a lot of bike time and a lot of rides in between, but he seems to be getting to the top. So second in MX2C after a long time off racing. So he stood out to me for that on that basis, which I thought was pretty impressive, that in those conditions on Sunday, after that much time off racing, to be, sort of getting towards the pointy end was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I met Cade a long time ago when he was a junior, and then started working, and I think he had shoulder issues, so he stopped racing for a long time, and now it's good to see him back racing again. So Cade King Sculthorpe.
Yes, yep. Did you have any particular riders that stood out to you?
Yeah, I reckon I seen Nick Medson have a ripper day with Jacob Sweet. He was the only rider that could really push him, and he went down in one race and was second last. I think Jack Kenny went down and Nick ran into him, and Nick looked like he'd got up second best out of the accident. Got back up and just pushed his way back and got second again in that race. So I thought that was pretty gutsy effort to do that in them conditions. So
that All Powers A class on the Saturday with Nick Medson and Jacob Sweet, I actually had that as one of my standout classes for the weekend because, Nick Medson just seems to be getting better with each round, and I don't think I've ever seen him push Jacob Sweet like that, and he was giving Jacob Sweet all he could handle on Saturday. That was some of the best racing I think we've seen all year.
He could end up going to America, Nick Medson. Yeah, I think just to go over and tell Chase Sexton how to ride a Kawasaki, because he can do it. Chase is terrible.
Yeah. So, well done to Nick Medson. And Jack Kenny had a good day too. Unfortunately, had that incident in the first moto, but ended up with 2/3. So the results sort of don't show how good he was riding.
Yeah, no, he stepped up to the 450. It looks good on it, actually. Rate Jack, he's not a bad rider and a good kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Another class that I wanted to talk about, and this is where I alluded to earlier, bring on Rosebud, MX3. So the battle between Job Dunn and Frederick Stampy was absolutely all-time at Edenhope.
Yep. Yeah, really good.
I could hear you getting pretty excited on the mic as well.
Because there were two riders you could sight them easy on track. So, even though the track's from where I stand, and so that, I think the spectator area is probably down near the roller area is probably the best area for spectating. But I was at the first corner and you could still see most of their racing. So tried to focus on that and
Well,
yeah, it was good to watch. So.
Moto 3, which Frederick led for, I think, pretty much all but the last lap. I was actually shooting from near those rollers, so I got to see it sort of from a front row seat. And, man, that was just so good to watch. They were both pushing so hard. And Frederick being from Denmark and racing around Europe, what have we got next, Kenny? What have we got next?
Yeah, well, I've actually heard a little rumour about him that he's a bit of a sand specialist. So he's been sighted at Rosebud and all reports it's looked pretty good.
So he's been training with Seth Jackson, and Seth reckons that he's going to show these boys what's up when the party comes to Rosebud.
Yeah, so I had a yak to him at Edenhope about the MX3 class and what's on offer for the MX3 riders going to Darwin, and was just opening the door for them to start thinking about it. And
is he keen?
The mother was there. Yeah, Mum was there this time. Dad wasn't there this weekend, so he couldn't get accommodation or something. So he ended up only racing Saturday, and they went home. So
okay, yeah. Well,
that's why he didn't race on Sunday.
I mean, looking at or looking ahead to Rosebud, Job Dunn has been dominant in this class. Frederick is, by all accounts, a phenom in the sand, and then you've got other Rosebud. Oh, you could just about call them locals, but Rosebud regulars in Jesse Kolb and
Noah James. Is he a local there?
Yeah, and Jesse Kolb and Noah James. Yeah, it's gonna be sick, I think. And then if Frederick races the MX2 A grade class, throw in guys like Balin Townsend and Caden Strode, like those guys have done a lot of laps in the sand and are very, very good at Rosebud. So I cannot wait for the Vics to go to Rosebud.
Yeah, and you chuck in a couple of the Pro MX boys that like sand, and if they haven't got commitments on, and the likelihood of seeing Regan Duffy and coming back last time he rode there, mate, that was amazing watching him race at Rosebud, the Senior Vic's there a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Kyle Webster around there. Yeah, phenomenal. Chandler Burns. And I think from what I hear, Chandler Burns is going to come race the Vics. So,
is he training for Hatter? Is that what he's?
Correct.
He's at his home for at the moment. So, racing there would be probably a good opportunity.
Chandler Burns, by far, is the most impressive rider I've ever seen around Rosebud. Yeah, at the Sandmasters in 24, he went down in the first corner, was like half a lap behind, and caught and passed everyone in like a 6-lap race. And there were some fast guys, other Rosebud regulars there in Matty Peluso and Seth Jackson and like some other fast A-grade riders, and he just ran them down like he was on a different level. So, really, really looking forward to seeing him come and race the Senior Vics as well.
Yep, no, that should be good. So
bring it on. And the other class that for me was just a standout on the weekend was the MX2 A-grade class. Unfortunately, there was only 5 on the gate on Sunday, being Balin Townsend, Caden Strode, Oscar Kimber, Judd Chislett, and Austin Boyd, who took over his little brother's 125 for one of the motos as well. But there was some really good racing. I think that was probably for me, even though there was only 5 on the gate, they swapped positions, they had tip overs, but there was still good racing. They were, for me, that was sort of the only class really that got around that track and put on a show on the Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, and once it's the club had a little bit of a play with some areas of the track after the first round of racing, the A graders were clearing everything again. So
yeah, but they had by that stage they had like probably a 300 mil single lane rut going around the track. So it was wide enough to actually ride, but
Yeah.
in order to pass, they had to go off the main line, and that's where things got really really interesting. So and I think that sort of skill level was only in the A grade classes. I think unfortunately that's what made the racing maybe a little bit not so exciting in some of the other classes where it became more about survival. But in the A grade class, they were good enough to get around and then have a crack off the main line. Sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't.
Those top riders were all raced for the MX3 class in Darwin last year. So that's that calibre of riders that we had up there, so.
Yeah. MX2, B grade, 3 on the gate on Sunday by the second moto. Levi Collins, Cody Vanderlei, Zev Hughes. Max Oakley was riding really, really well until he had a little bit of a crash. So we wish Max all the best. I think he suffered a knee injury with his recovery. But again, even though a small gate, some good racing between these guys.
Yeah, like you can have 40, and if 40 aren't trying, you may as well just watch the first 4 at the front. So
yeah,
and that's what we had. So yeah, it's disappointing with that the club got hit with the weather and the riders decided to pull the pin on some of them and some stayed, and just got to hope now that we can get them back because we don't want to lose them now.
Yeah.
After that round,
the thing that stood out to me that I actually was quite impressed by in terms of the resilience. So the 2 biggest classes that had the least attrition rate on the Sunday was MX2C and MX1C. So the C grade riders, so MX2C was taken out by Casey Andrea and MX1C by Tristan Dimmery. But those classes, which, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to take offence, they were the riders that struggled the most on Sunday getting around that track, and they had the least attrition rate. So, I mean, there is a lot of heart in those C grade classes.
Yeah, yep. And the boys sitting on the fence as they were racing, like, it was so funny just listening to, like, Tristan Dimmery who was racing, and the crew that was with him were on the fence cheering for him, and when he had the win, that went off. That was pretty funny. That side of it.
Yeah, that's cool how, like, even at this level, they're getting some fans on the sideline cheering them on.
Yeah. No, I think the club, was keen as to run a Vic, done everything they could to get it over the line, and then got, for no fault of their own, got hammered by unexpected rain on Saturday night, which hampered Sundays and probably gives some people that, I don't know if I'll go there again attitude, but mate, we're in an outdoor sport. It rains, it happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say, Kenny, like all the riders that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to quite a few at some of the other events since Edenhope, that raced at Edenhope, and I really haven't heard a bad word about the track or the layout. The ones that raced Saturday all loved the layout, loved racing the layout. So I kind of hope that the enduring memory is the track is how good the track is and how well it raced, rather than the memory when we go there again.
Yeah, and just that's right, isn't it? So hopefully, when we get another event out there, that if they're not going, and they can encourage someone else to go out and support it. Yeah,
that's all right, mate. If we get out there again, we'll be reminding them early.
Yeah.
That it is a good track and it's worth the trip out there.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, isn't it, with weather.
Yep. But we could get that at any track. We can get that at any track, local or far away. So, let's just hope that the rest of the year brings us good weather for the rest of the VIX rounds. Yeah,
that's right. And it starts rosy, so.
As we sort of did for this round, I would love to do some interviews out at Rosebud. So maybe a couple at the end of the day on Saturday and a couple at the end of the day on Sunday. So if you're going to be around and you're keen to do an interview, I'd love to catch up with you. Shoot me a DM and, sort of first in, best dressed. And we'll make it happen.
Yeah, do it before I kidnap Pete Saturday night and we're going out.
You're a party
We're
animal.
going out on the turfs. No, not really. Just go out for our traditional feed with the officials and the medics and whatever, and come back and very quiet night, back in bed early.
I've got too much work to do, mate. There's no early nights for me. I sit in my van. I've got my workstation.
Yeah, I reckon the listeners know that I don't go back and go to bed early either. So.
Yeah, you're out on town with Clemo.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that.
I don't think you could keep up with him, unfortunately, Kenny.
No, probably not.
Maybe that sounds like a challenge.
Nah, it's all good. I'll get him to the breakup this year to the presentation night, which is on the first Saturday of September. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind too is if you don't have a ticket, you can't come. So if you're going to come along, you need to get in early and buy your ticket. Once we have ticket sales go up and right on it, yeah, just buy a ticket. It's no dearer than going out to the pub for a feed and a 2-course meal. So
yeah, it's a fantastic night. The food was awesome last year and the year before, but yeah, it's a really, really great night. So for anyone that hasn't been out there, I'd encourage them to go out. It's great to catch up. It's a lot more relaxed, obviously, than at the races because, yeah, you don't have all the other things going on. So it's good to chat and meet people and meet your competition.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just finish it off on a high, I think. And then, we present the team going to Darwin. We also present the Aussie Junior team that'll be racing at Shepparton.
You do a bit more fundraising?
So, yeah, still fundraising. We got rid of another Charlie Cannon jersey at Horsham, and I've got one for at Rosebud, a Charlie Cannon jersey. So,
well, how good was her race on the weekend? I was super impressed with Taylor McCutcheon and Emma Milesevic as well.
3 in the top 10. That's awesome, isn't it?
I think it was 3 in the top 7. Yeah. That's absolutely unreal. Like, to go over there and put it to the American girls on their home stomping ground. And I think for Taylor and Emma, that's their first time racing there, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty,
I think so. Yeah.
Pretty bloody impressive.
Yeah, and Emma said she got a terrible start, and they had one off also, and still finished 7th.
Yeah. No, it's going to be cool to see how that championship progresses as well. All right. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention before we head to Rosebud for round 3?
No, although I think we just need a podcast sponsor for the next round for the Horsham Juniors. So if you want to promote your business in a great way on the podcast with Mental4Moto, give Pete a ring and get your name out there.
No, love it, Kenny. Thank you so much, mate. It's always great having you on for a chat.
Yeah, thanks again. And, thanks to everyone that made the effort out to the trek out to Edenhope and the club appreciated the support that they got, and they won't just drop it now. Hopefully they'll continue on to keep building and we'll keep running some events out there for them.
Most definitely. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. If you like these shows, you know the drill. Please like and subscribe and share to your story so we can keep growing the sport and the championship. Massive thanks, Kenny, for coming on to co-host another show, and to Kimber Constructions for bringing you this episode, and to our partners here at Mental4Moto, Fastline Suspension, Southeast Pools, Iro Helmets, Ultimate Toy Haulers, and the June sponsor of the Mental4Moto Motocross and Supercross Wall Calendars, Thrill Therapy. As I said at the intro, grab yourself some Thrill Therapy merch from their stand at any of the Victorian Motocross Championship rounds. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. On behalf of Mental4Moto, I've been your host, Pete Wolf. Until next time, see ya.